Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Pixel Gadget here. I'm a game designer, and welcome to another episode of Call of Duty World at War Zombies gameplay analysis, design analysis. Game designer plays zombies is back. We're going to keep doing it. We're doing Zombie Verrückt this time, and it's actually pronounced Verrückt. Verrückt. Okay, I'm not a German. Okay, I don't know these things. Here we are. Okay, we spawn in. I'm just going to pause it real quick. So this map has got a lot going on. It takes zombies to the next level. In the last episode, I felt honestly kind of awkward. I felt like I didn't know really what to talk about, like for the specifics of the map generally, because it was so plain. This map takes everything to a whole other level. So you spawn right in and you've got immediately narrative going on, environmental storytelling, and there's some stuff going on. It tells you where you are: Berlin, Germany. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Sanitarium, which is an asylum. Zombie Verrückt. Verrückt literally means crazy or insane. So it literally translates to zombie insane or crazy zombie or zombie asylum. September 1945. That's relevant for some of the environmental storytelling going on because that's near the end of World War II. And that's because I noticed on the outside area, it's all burned and destroyed. And I was thinking, was there like a wildfire? No. They bombed the hell out of the place. The Allies bombed the hell out of it. So that's why it's all burning everywhere. And that's relevant to the lighting that's going on. I'll explain that in a sec. But basically, yeah, we've got narrative design going on and environmental storytelling going on. I've mentioned this before, but you can't really go wrong with torture scenes and murder scenes. And that's why horror games have it so easy with their environmental storytelling. They got the free pass. They can do the same thing over and over, have a room full of blood in some horrific scene, and the people gobble it up like cupcakes. They love it. They love it. It's so easy. You know, you just fill a room with blood, bodies, skeletons, scary stuff. People love it, and it tells a story. You know, it asks questions. The best environmental storytelling is, the player is asking questions. What is this place? What happened here? You can see like blood trails, classic horror trope. Very good stuff. I'm loving it. Okay. So, as for the lighting, the burning trees outside is relevant because you've got this kind of yellow glow coming from the outside, and yet inside it's dark and like dilapidated. And look at this scene. There's mist on the ground, and there's water dripping down in numerous locations around the map. Like there's a shower head on the other side of the map. These water drippings, that's movement. So, and it's kind of an elemental. So you've got fire in the other room. There's like that flickering fire. I got some footage of spawning in the other room. That's a whole other cool thing about this map, is it did something almost, I would say, revolutionary, because it's designed for co-op, right? So it splits the players up into two groups. I think if you play with 4 people, they spawn on either side. 2, 1 on either side, and 3, I don't know how they split. It's probably random. However, I thought it was super cool, and there's writing on the wall that says, "Power will reunite you." Very interesting. And this particular scene, on either side of the spawn points, there's like a horror scene. A very specific horror scene. It's not just generic asylum stuff. So this is I think it's a crematorium, which, you know, for, let's just say Germans of that time, let's just say that's a poignant element in the lore of World War II Germans. I'm not going to say any particular words. Don't want to trip the algorithm, but I think we know why there's a crematorium. Anyway, but yeah, asylums would have, honestly, I guess, yeah, any hospital, because where people died, there would be cremation stuff, right? But I'm just saying, I think of certain things when I see German stuff and cremation. Just saying. Anyways, and then the other room we're going to talk about later, there's almost like a nightmare dentist chair with blood everywhere, like torture scene. Loving it. This is where Zombies really gets its like identity as horror kind of nightmare facility. I shake the camera because I didn't want to get that nuke. but I realize that the nuke gives 400 points now, so that's pretty cool. We've got the classic flickering lights. Fire and water are so good because they just have movement built in. Fire flickers and has light. Water splashes and moves. It doesn't really reflect light as much. Well, it reflects light, but it doesn't emit light. Like, look at that flashing yellow coming out of the window. They did that in the original Nacht der Untoten, but now we're seeing it in other ways. It's very similar, where there's a contrast between the outside and the inside. The outside has this nice sunshine, yellow glow, the fire, all that. Inside is pretty dark. I would say it's very dark, gloomy, very spooky, totally dilapidated. The level of just environmental fidelity has gone way up since Nacht der Untoten. Like, this map is such a jump in quality. You can just see how the developers were like, oh my god, we struck gold. Let's just go all in on this thing. And so they just made, like, honestly, this insanely cool zombies map. It's terrifying, very creepy. I remember when I first played this map as a kid, I was, like, horrified at the prospect of there were no training areas. There's no big open area you can run in circles, really. This is probably your best area to run in circles, right where I'm at right now. And I get actually pretty far, you know. I'm watching my freaking back, dude. After the last time, I am watching my back, okay? I am not letting any zombies sneak up behind me or materialize behind me like they did last time, because that was ridiculous. That was a glitch, okay? Okay, we come into, like, one of the rooms here. I just want to pause real quick. And there's a bunch of, like, creepy writing on the walls. This is also very good horror stuff. All kinds of symbols here. I wanted to give you guys some epic lore. So right here on the wall, 1938, 2406. Apparently this is a date that some magical meteor hit the Earth, a zombies lore. And then this was really cool. So 9:21 refers to a Bible verse, actually. I knew it was a Bible verse, but I wanted to look it up. So I looked it up. It's Jeremiah 9:21. And in the King James Bible, it translates to, let me see here. I had it up. Okay, for death is come up into our windows and is entering into our palaces to cut off the children from without and the young men from the streets. That's so cool. That's zombies. They're crawling through the windows. And then the same numbers again over there. Go to knife this guy, because I'm still a god at this game. Oh, man. So this is another kind of great environmental storytelling scene, but it's just got the classic horror stuff going on. Schizophrenic ramblings, bro. Whoever wrote all this stuff was schizo-maxing. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. Loving it. You got the blood, got the chopper. Oh, man. There's all kinds. The amount of detail, it's crazy. So basically, like, I'm imagining that when they first designed this map, they basically had a sanitarium asylum. Okay, they started with that, then they, like, tore it apart, and then they added all the horror elements, like the blood, the guts, the whatever, the blades. Man, this is awesome, and I didn't notice this first time. I played through the map twice. I didn't notice, but this room has so much good contrast. It really draws the eye. First of all, it's the only, like, white light in the entire map, besides that lamp right there. But you know what I mean. It's, like, flashing. It's got all the signifiers of, hey, there's something over here. Come over here, Mr. Player. Check me out. Yeah, so the player's going to run over there, and they're going to be attracted to it, right? Flashing lights. And notice, I didn't notice this before, you can see it from every point in the map. In the starting area, in these side areas, everywhere, you can see that flashing white room. And because it's it's the most important room in the entire game, or the map, so yeah, they wanted you to notice it, so they did it the best way they could. Now, when you walk into that room, do you get a seizure? Yes. I was literally seizing up on the floor trying to record this footage. No, I'm just kidding. I've never had a seizure. Knock on wood. Okay. That's a great signifier. I also wanted to mention how beautifully this map is designed. First of all, it's like 15 times as big as Nacht der Untoten, so they just went all out. And it's got a very amazing design, like this circular design, this kind of donut-shaped design. One of the amazing things about the donut-shaped COD Zombies map is that what they always do is they'll have a central element that helps the player navigate where they are at any given time. And in this map, there is a fountain in the center of the map that always orients you towards where you are. You can always tell where you are relative to the fountain, and that's super great. And also there's layers to it, right? There's the flashing power room, there's the fountain, there's the color dynamic between the interior and exterior that just kind of tells you, generally gives a vibe of contrast. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. There's so much good stuff going on in this map, and it's so terrifying and creepy, and I can't stand it. I'm not a horror person, but I'm a zombies person, because I guess I've played for so long that I just kind of like know how to handle these tight corridors and stuff. I was still pretty scared when the rounds were clicking up and I didn't have a clear strategy of like, where am I even going to survive? Because I don't know this map. I haven't played this map. I haven't played this map in a long time, dude. There we go. We got the flashing. I'm having a seizure right now. Seizure warning, by the way, for anyone who has that stuff. Every single room seems to have its own identity. I love this. So this is a thing about level design that most game devs or even gamers don't understand. And, you know, gamers don't have to understand it. They just need to literally not think about it. The best levels, players don't even think about it, right? Is every room feels like it had a purpose. So this was like, it feels like a real place. Like this is a real asylum. People really lived here, and something freaking horrifying happened here. I don't even want to know, dude. There's barricades everywhere. The place has been bombed to hell. Dude, the BAR sucks, by the way. Just like, I thought it would be like this goated gun, but Call of Duty World at War gunplay just has this weird clunkiness to it. I think it's because the BAR shoots just super slow and the recoil looks weird. I don't know. I don't even know. Speaking of like audio stuff, I noticed so many new audio things in this map. One of them was when you walk up to a perk machine. By the way, perk machines are now a thing in the history of zombies. This was the first map to have perks. The original 4 perks: Juggernaut, increased health; Speed Cola, increased reload speed; Double Tap, increased fire rate; and Quick Revive, revive your teammates quicker. Super cool. I had no use for Quick Revive, so I went straight for Jug. Okay, I just wanted to point this out. I'm gonna crank the volume and just listen to when I walk up to the Jug machine. Just listen. Oh, I buy it too quickly for you to hear it. Okay. But basically, there was like a glass bottle clanking sound effect just by walking up and getting the prompt to interact with it, not actually buying. Okay, so that was super cool. There's also a sound effect when you try to buy a gun and you don't have enough money. I think I listen. You could hear it really well right there. When I walk up to the thing, it plays a sound effect. Very good little feedback there. There's also a sound effect when I try to buy a gun or a perk machine and I can't afford it. It's very subtle, but it's there. So sound effect design is sick. I also think now the zombies have death sound effects. I might be tripping. I pointed out how with wave survival stuff, and it's literally, there's no special enemies. It's just all the same zombie. There is some variation. There's probably like 3 or 4 different models and a number of different running, walking, and jogging animations. And when you shoot them in the body, sometimes their arms and guts kind of fly around. And when you shoot them in the head, you get that delicious, chunky sound effect that we know and love. That's literally, I think, in zombie games, at least, it's in Black Ops for sure. Yeah, that beautiful jib of the head jibbing everywhere is like... Heads don't do that when you shoot them in real life, apparently. Not that I've been shooting people in the head very often, ever. But for video games, jibbing a person's head when you shoot them in the face is pretty freaking amazing. Obviously, nobody questions it. It's extremely unrealistic, supposedly. I don't know. Never seen footage of that. I was never into the gore, you know? Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, when I was 13, I was watching all this. No. No, what the frick is wrong with you, bro? You freak? I'm just kidding. No judgment here. This is a safe space. Okay. So I'm just like goated, you know, I'm clicking heads. I'm insane at this game. Like, let's just be real. I'm insane. Absolutely insane. I probably get farther than anyone who's ever played this game. Let's just be real about that for a second. And yeah, it's because, you know, when you become a game designer, you're just goated. Okay, trying to move on. Apparently there's a secret song on this map. I have never known that. I did a quick Google search. Hey, what are some cool facts about Zombie Verrückt? Verrückt, sorry. I've been saying Verrückt for millennia, so, but I looked it up. It's Verrückt. These German people, bro, they're crazy. They have to be stopped. Doing weird things with letters. Whatever, bro. Okay. Yeah, everything is, the core gameplay loop is the same, right? We've got the zombies coming in, but there's just more choices now, right? So before the choice was mystery box, wall guns, doors, and where am I going to defend myself? Now we've got the power, which I guess isn't really a choice, but you have a goal, right? Before we were opening doors and expanding the map just to try to get more powerful upgrades and things. Now, we're trying to turn on the power so we can be reunited and work together with our teammates. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but theoretically, if everyone opens all the doors, you should be able to reunite with your teammates just by opening all the doors that connect the place. There's just that one door. So wait, am I crazy? But is opening the power basically do almost nothing in this map? I think it literally opens... Oh, it activates the traps. Okay, so the traps are something that if I was in 2008 or wherever this was released and someone was like, oh, do you think the traps will make it to future maps? I say no! The traps are lame, bro. I should have died here, like straight up. I'm tripping, bro. But I'm just so goated. I just keep going. The traps are kind of lame, but obviously for like super high rounds, like you've seen people get like round whatever, like 3 million in this freaking map. Yeah, they have to use the traps because the zombies' health pool becomes insanely high, and you cannot kill the zombies anymore. Like, because there's no pack-a-punch on this map. But you can see how the developers were expanding the choices, the meaningful choices a player can make. So here I'm getting all the perks. Obviously, you start with Jug, then Speed Cola. Everyone knows this. But that's, like, the choices are just now really, really good. Because it's like, okay, well, which perk do I get? How do I spend my money? I'm loving it. I think one of those toilets activates the song. I bet it's one of those toilets. I should have known. I should have looked it up. I'm going to listen to that song, the secret song, literally right after this recording, just so I can listen to this thing that's apparently been part of my life for millennia and I've never known. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on this map. The choices that a player is making are really expanding, the meaningful choices. I think in a few rounds I try to use this trap and then realize it's just not viable because it needs to cool down. This room honestly was kind of goated because the zombies come from 2 directions. I can just gun them down. If I had a teammate, we could get way farther, but you know how it is. I really like the posters for the perks, kind of like if a player had literally never seen a perk in their life and they saw those posters, they would be intrigued, to say the least, because the contrast. I'm never going to shut up about contrast, okay, guys? Just get used to it. Just get used to it. Every time I see something cool that's contrasting in a game, I'm going to be like, contrast! And you'll be like, oh, he's talking about contrast again. Yeah, I'm talking about contrast again, because it's contrast of color and it's contrast of vibe and aesthetic. Because you've got this literal nightmare asylum. Like, this is where dreams go to die. This is where ponies and fairy tales go to die, bro. It's a freaking terrifying place. I don't want to go here. I don't want to live here. Here we are. I got to do it for YouTube. And also, yeah, it's just fun to shoot zombies. Everyone knows this. Then you've got these perk posters that look colorful, vibrant, and just are like cartoony almost. I think the coolest thing is they could have done kind of anything with the perks, and they chose to do perk like sodas. Like, that's genius. We take that for granted. We're like, yeah, Jugnog, sure. Like, we just take it for granted. These designers made the choice to choose something kind of cartoony, but also kind of realistic. Like, it's a magic potion, right? That's brilliant. They could have gone more realistic and gritty. I think it's amazing how basically they have perfectly blended, and I said this in the previous video, I should have died right there. Perfectly blended the gritty nightmare horror elements of zombies with basically this almost arcadey, cartoony style. It's brilliant, and I think it's one of the reasons why me as a person who despises horror. I was talking to someone last night, and they just would not shut up about how they love horror and horror YouTube and stuff. And I looked up some of the things they were talking about. This person is mentally ill. This person has brain damage. They've been traumatized. I don't know what they're smoking. But anyways, it's not for me. If you like horror, great. I'm just saying, Zombies bridges the gap between arcadey shooter, horde survival, and horror basically perfectly. Because, let's be real, there's literally no pacing at all. Well, okay, here's what I'm saying. This kind of environment, okay, imagine this environment with all the creepy stuff going on, but basically I don't give you a gun, or maybe I give you like a freaking like tiny weapon. Here's what, quick scoping montage. Check this out. Boom, headshot, easy. And I have just this terrible monster chasing you around, like the alien from Alien is chasing you around this place. I was like, I don't know what I was thinking here. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. Round 10, not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad for a first timer. I didn't watch any guides, okay? I was just winging it. Okay. Imagine that. It's a very different game. It's a very, very different game. Way more suspense. When I say pacing, I mean the player's walking down this hallway and they're hearing scary things. Okay. So I spawn into the other side, and the character says, we need to get the power on. Really good signifier there. So I quit and actually reload to try to get a spawn on the other side of the map so I can show you guys. And here's what the map looks like. So these are the spawn points. And you can see it's like perfectly symmetrical. Power switch right there. It is a perfectly symmetrical map. It's amazing. I love the elegance of this map. It is beautiful and lovely. I love this. Runs great on Intel Core i7. Wow. Flash from the past. Those were the good old days, my friends. If you know, you know. Listen to the character.
There's gotta be a power switch around here somewhere.
There's gotta be a power switch around here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, got a new horror scene, right? Nightmare situation, torture scene, some kind of electroshock. I followed this wire. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, it's connected to the breaker. Oh, they were electrocuting some poor guy. Why would they do that? They deserve to die for torturing people. Those damn Germans. It kind of, I think one of the reasons why the horror aesthetic, torture aesthetic vibe works so well is you don't feel any sympathy for these Germans. Because you're like, okay, you guys were hurting people. Okay, that's a big part of environmental narrative design in general is ease the player's conscience, right? I don't know if you guys know, there was this game System Shock 2 where the enemies would literally like beg you for mercy, and like if you killed them, I think I literally die here, yeah. Don't look at that. I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even, that was just, yeah, I didn't, moving on. You want to communicate to the player, yeah, these people deserve to get messed up. And this is a horror movie trope, actually. Go watch any horror movie. And a lot of the characters that are killed in the beginning of the movie will have done something immoral earlier in the movie. You would not believe how often this is. And this is to kind of ease the audience into believing that somehow they deserved it. They deserved being killed by the monster. And this goes for video games where you kind of want to subtly imply that the bad guys in your video game deserve to be killed by the player. I know it sounds messed up, but this is human psychology. Anyway, like the System Shock 2 enemies are like, when you kill them, they're like, thank you. And they're like, when they're attacking you, they're like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, that's a different vibe than these mindless German dudes who are probably torturing people in their human lives. And now they're zombies. And, it's time to just... The game definitely doesn't want you to have any sympathy for these dudes. I've always said this, and I'll say it again. The best enemies for FPS will always be robots, World War II Germans. I'm not going to say the word. I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. But y'all know what I mean. Y'all know the word, okay? Yeah, the Germans from World War II, zombies, robots. These are the enemies. These are the bread and butter of enemies for video games. Because ain't nobody got any sympathy for those characters, those particular creatures, whatever. That's why I think most of the early shooters in the shooter history were World War II games. This was interesting environmental storytelling. I know it seems subtle, and honestly gave me Fallout 3 vibes, but basically it brings questions into the player's mind. What is this? Who did this? Why did they do it? Are you seeing what I'm putting down? Are you seeing what I'm putting down? It creates mystery. All right, we want to create questions because it creates mystery for the player, and that's what it's all about, even if you're not making a creepy horror game. Okay, so the video's gone on long enough. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you watching and joining me. I feel like myself again. I feel energetic. If you like games like this, FPS games like this, Wave Survival Zombies, Classic Zombies, you should check out my video game, because I'm actually a game developer, called Doomsday Sector, on Steam now. Going to be released soon, within a year from now, possibly. Lord knows. I'm going to take my time with it. I want it to be a good game. But if you enjoy this kind of stuff, you'll probably like my game. It's basically classic COD Zombies, but with a very interesting twist. It's got like a Tarkov-style roguelike. I know everyone's making roguelikes these days, but mine's better than everyone else's because it's so good. And yeah, it's got roguelike stuff. You can upgrade, and like you can play pretty much however you want. You could do like a movement speed build, reload speed build, tank build of just like super high HP, all that stuff. It gives you tons of options. Check it out. If you like it, hey, if you're gonna probably love it. You're gonna love it, just be real. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. I'm really enjoying this new direction of the channel, so I'm hoping that, yeah, we keep getting traction with this new format, and hopefully everything will be great. Thank you all again so much. I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Goodbye.